السلام عليكم. لا تنسوا الاعجاب بالفيديو والاشتراك في القناة تشجيعا لنا لنستمر بنشر المزيد ان شاء الله.
وقد خاب من دساها. The one who is totally, lost himself is the one who is actually.
But he's all powerful.
He has given us free will to a limited extent. That free will entails that we have free will to believe or disbelieve in him. If God was here, then everyone have no choice but to believe in him. Free will be useless.
So you're saying
free will be totally debunked, useless. What's the point of having free will?
And
everyone has to
not,
believe.
not just that. A lot of people who don't believe still. I mean, some people claim that Jesus is God. Some people claim that.
The Christians.
But 90% of the others don't believe that. And he was there only what? For 30 years and disappeared?
Secondly, this universe as it is cannot contain the glory of God. At one time, Moses, the prophet, peace be upon him, he says, okay, I want to see you, God. God says, Lan tarani, you won't be able to see it. But if you see this mountain still standing, then you'll be able to see me. Guess what happened? God sort of revealed something of his glory, a part of his glory, just tajalla. The mountain crumbled to dust. Moses fainted, peace be upon him. When he was back to his senses, he says, glory be to Allah. That was he asking for something. Because look, we are a speck or a spot on this earth, right? A speck. You and me, on this earth, we like a speck. The earth in our solar system is like a speck.
So how does this
Our solar system is like a speck in the Milky Way galaxy. This Milky Way galaxy in our greater galaxies and so on, speck. Speck. God who created all of that.
So in the 10th heaven,
Wait a moment, just understand that. Just reflect on it. Speck upon a speck upon a speck upon a speck upon a speck. You are demanding or requesting or in fact asking for God, creator of all of this, right? The greatest conceivable being, to come to a speck, 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 tiny weeny speck like you and me, come to a level and say, here I'm God. Imagine a bacteria says, I want to see all of you. I want to see, what's your name? I've forgotten. Salman. Bacteria, imagine it was able to rationalize and speak. I want to see the whole of Salman. The bacteria is today incapable of, because bacteria compared to you is very, very finitely small. It's impossible for it to comprehend you. So God, who is beyond our comprehension, his kursi, wasi'a kursi samawati wal ard. His kursi, the footstool, extends the heavens and the earth, let alone the throne of God, right? And yet we're demanding this God, Jalla wala, the greatest being, to come to a speck and say, here you go. It's like, the belief people have, oh, can you have the genie going to a bottle? You're asking God to become non-God, to be here. This universe cannot contain it, it will be destroyed.
There's no need, to be honest with you.
It will be destroyed. But in the hereafter, the people in paradise, they will have the opportunity to see God from the heavens, from the paradise.
Do you believe the Adam and Eve story?
I believe this is how Adam and Eve was created.
And you believe they're the first human beings?
Not necessarily. No.
Yes.
No, not necessarily.
Okay. What proof do you have that Adam and Eve existed?
What proof do I have?
That Adam and Eve existed.
When you ask me proof of something that is thousands or perhaps millions of years before, you're asking for what kind of proof?
the camera.
What proof do you have that
I'm asking you, what kind of proof would you like for something that exists perhaps thousands of years earlier from now? What proof will satisfy you? Do you want archaeological proof?
Is more than enough.
Do you want, what proof do you want?
Okay, give me some fossils or something. Do you have any proof?
Right, so you're expecting the fossils will remain from someone for thousands and thousands millions of years ago, right?
So Mansoor, just be honest with me. Tell me that you have no proof. Just say now.
First of all, when you ask for proof of something, is it something that is provable? Do you have the resources to even prove it?
I'm asking you, Mansoor. What proof do you have that Adam and Eve exist?
I am telling you, there are things that you don't have the tools to prove it. For example, I'll tell you right now, gravity. Have you seen gravitons? Or whatever it's doing the gravity business? Have you seen it?
No, but when you jump out the window, you see the effects
When you
of gravity.
jump up out the window, you don't see gravity.
You see the
That is
effects
the
of
effects.
Yeah, the
But
effects
I'm
of
not
it.
interested in the effects. Where is gravity? What is it, gravity? What color is it? How does it smell?
Mansoor, you're
No,
playing
no, no.
games.
I'm
You're
not
changing
playing
the
games.
subject.
I am saying there are certain evidence. We need to have the tools and the resources for it to provide the evidence.
Okay, so-
We know for sure there are gravitational forces at work, but we cannot prove gravity
He's
because
telling
we
you-
don't have the tools and the resources to prove it.
But you can see its effects.
I'm not talking about gravity, I'm talking about Adam and Eve.
But do you understand, even today, in the 21st century, having the belief by all the scientists, if not all of them, okay?
What scientist believes Adam and Eve
Excuse me,
existed?
scientists believe in gravity, right? What proof do they have of gravity rather than the effects?
Mansoor, you're changing the
I'm not
subject. You're
changing
not
the
listening to
subject.
what I'm saying.
I am saying,
If you're not going to listen to me,
when
I'll
you
go.
demand proof of something, certain times proof cannot be given easily because you don't have the resources or the tools for the proof.
Okay, Mansoor, what?
Like Adam and Eve existed long time ago. I cannot say that's his fossils because have you really spent enough time to dig all the planet Earth to find his fossils? Have you?
I'll explain to you this.
Now, if I said, you know what? Yes, I can give you proof. He was buried, right? So dig hole of the earth and you will find him. Have you done it?
Me,
Yeah. Anyone?
the fossils of Adam and Eve,
Yeah.
they won't find it
Why not?
because they don't exist. That's the
No,
point.
no,
That's
no,
what
no,
you
no,
don't
no.
understand.
When you said they don't exist,
Yeah.
it's based on what evidence?
There is no evidence that they even
No, no,
existed.
no. I am saying they were buried. So what you have to do?
Where were they buried?
Listen carefully. I'm giving you the tools, right? Whether you have the ability to utilize these tools is up to you. You demand evidence. Here is the tools.
Okay, where were they buried?
Tools is you have to dig up the planet Earth, the surface of it, and you will find the evidence.
Of who? Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve. Have you done it? Go and start today. Go on, start digging now.
They don't exist, my friend. You're
Hang
not
on,
using
hang on,
your
hang
brain.
on. I'm
know
saying
they
it's
don't
there.
exist?
I'm saying they were buried. So if you really want evidence,
I'm not going to take your word for it.
excuse me,
You're
listen,
Mansoor.
listen. You asked me for evidence. I am saying the evidence is there. They're buried. To listen carefully. What you have to do is gather to being crazy, because you are demanding me to go and tell you, oh, if I dig there, they'll find it. I don't know where they were buried.
Mansoor, be honest. You have
I
no
just
proof.
told you.
You have no proof that Adam and Eve existed. Be honest. That's it. Case closed.
No. What you don't realize is this. When we say Adam and Eve existed,
Yes.
and they were buried, do you follow so far? They were buried on planet Earth. Now, if they're buried on planet Earth, the remains of Adam and Eve, it's possible logically. Look, their remains exist, logically possible. If you want to prove or disprove, the way to disprove is dig the whole of the surface of the Earth.
Yeah, but I can't do that. That's just madness.
Then this is exactly my point. Certain proof, you don't have the resources or the ability or the time to do it. Like gravity, for example.
The knowledge.
All scholars on planet Earth that I know of believe and know about gravity. Every single one of them. I don't know of anyone who's a scientist who doesn't believe and accept gravity.
Yes, yes.
But I have not met a single scholar on planet Earth who has proof for gravity. What he has, or she has rather,
Is the effects of gravity.
is the effects.
Yes.
But do you realize now? So if you want to prove gravity, what do we have to do?
You have to jump
We have
out
to
the-
find, no.
Not jump out the window, but it's evidence. Like,
That's the evidence for effects, not the gravity itself. So what you have to do is to find out how can we prove gravity. Find out the tools and the resources to prove it. We haven't got it yet. So you have to work on it.
so how are we going to find the proof of Adam and Eve?
Do you follow so far about gravity?
Yes, yes, I do.
Gravity is something today we accept without proof.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree.
Good. Does that mean proof is absent?
No.
Right. Proof could be there. We haven't got the means yet.
Okay. So
Do you follow so far?
So you think we could get the means to find Adam and
No,
Eve?
I am saying, if you really want to know, according to Islamic tradition, they were buried. So you can just start digging now. Get your billions of friends and start digging, and you'll probably find out the remains of Adam and Eve. If you really want to go to this archaeological, physical, empirical evidence, I have no problem with that.
I'll give you the sad truth, Mansoor.
No. The sad truth is gravity doesn't exist.
No. No, and Mansoor, you have to let me talk. You have to let me talk.
Talk.
The sad truth is that Adam and Eve is a fantasy story. They never existed, my friend.
Who said that?
This is what you don't understand.
how
You're
do
not
you know
using your
that?
brain.
Who said that?
I said so.
Yeah.
You're not using your brain.
Yeah.
That's
So,
the problem, my friend.
do you know the Earth is flat?
Don't change the subject.
No,
Mansoor.
I'm
Don't play
going to show.
games.
I'm going to show you something interesting.
I don't care if the Earth is flat or
No,
not.
is the Earth flat or is it spherical? We had people here debating the Earth is
Yeah, but
flat.
I'm not like them, Mansoor. I'm atheist.
Wait. Is the Earth flat or spherical?
It's not flat.
Okay, what's your evidence for it?
I mean, I can't give you the evidence right now.
But you believe in it.
To be honest, I don't really care.
It's a myth.
I don't really care if it is or not.
I'm just paraphrasing those friends of ours. They didn't come today, maybe. You know what they say? The Earth is a sphere is a myth. I'm just going to paraphrase their words on you. You believe in a spherical Earth? It's a myth, Salman.
That's their opinion. I don't agree.
Oh, right. So when you said Adam and Eve doesn't exist, that's your opinion. I don't agree.
That's your opinion.
That's your opinion. I don't agree.
But you still haven't got any proof for it.
But you submit it's your opinion though,
I
yeah?
can believe without any accessible evidence. Like I believe in gravity without any proof whatsoever.
Okay, but isn't there?
Am I being inconsistent? No, I'm being very consistent.
Mansoor-
I can believe in gravity without any evidence.
Is there any chance that this could be a fantasy story?
No, do you know why?
Could you
Because
accept-
when I know for certain the Quran is from Allah, from the Creator, without a shadow of doubt, and He mentions this, I accept it.
But you're saying Allah wrote the Quran.
No, Allah gave the Quran. He revealed it.
He didn't write it.
Why did he write it himself?
Look at the talk. Oh, if Allah wrote it Himself, you accept it? If I told you Allah wrote it Himself, would you accept
I'm
it?
just giving you semantics here.
No.
It's a bit
For
of fun.
example,
It's a bit of fun.
the Christians, not Christians, the Jewish people will come and tell you, God wrote the 10 Commandments with His own hand. Would you accept it now it's from God?
No, I wouldn't. But I'm
Why are you so inconsistent then? Again, a methodological issue. You demand something, and when it's given, you don't accept it. That's a sign of what?
no, sorry, so what I meant to say.
Did you demand, why didn't God write it Himself? And yes, we have evidence that God wrote the 10 Commandments by Himself.
I was just humoring you. I'm sorry. I was
Are
humoring
you humoring me?
Sorry, I was humoring you.
Okay.
Let me explain it. I didn't explain it to you properly. I'll explain to you, sorry.
Sure.
The point I'm making is this, is that someone must have wrote the Quran. I'm not sure who, 100%, but I'm sure there was lots of men, Arab men back then in Saudi Arabia, who wrote the Quran. It's common sense. To say, you'd have to, it's common sense someone must have wrote it.
No, someone scribed it, right?
Yeah, it's common sense.
No, not common sense. When people, for example, if I dictate a letter to you and you write, where's the letter coming from? Your head or mine?
Yeah, but...
Slowly.
Are you talking
If
about
I dictate something for you to write, I dictate, write. We are in Speaker's Corner now. So is it coming from your head or my head?
It's coming from your head.
Good.
Yeah, but
So when the Quran is dictated to be written, the people who are writing, the scribes, are they writing it from their own head, the contents of the Quran, or are they just following what they've been dictated to them?
So who told him to write? Who told him to
The
write?
Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Muhammad.
Yes.
So maybe Muhammad wrote the Quran.
And where did he say it's coming from? From God.
Yeah, but
Do you know why it's impossible for him to write the Quran? Enough evidence to sustain that argument. There's enough evidence to say that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is impossible for him to write the Quran.
But the whole illiterate story.
No. You can analyze someone's speech, whether it's from him or not. Yeah, you can actually analyze it. The Quran is impossible to be speech of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because we know his speech, which has been recorded in the hadith literature. Totally unique from the Quran.
His style of
Totally
is
different.
very different.
What the Quran says is impossible for him to know as well. Impossible for him to know. How is it possible for him to know the underwater interoceanic waves? How did he know that? It's impossible for him to know. You have to have satellite go up there and look and then see, there are waves within the oceans, deep oceans, which are inside the oceans. How did he know that, living in a desert?
So the whole...
I'm giving you one example. If you want, I can just give you, like shotgun example of 20, 30, 40 examples, and then you'll say like, that's too many. How did the Prophet living in a desert, on a desert, talk about interoceanic waves in deep oceans, which you can't see? You have to go up this space, and with your satellites, you can see them.
So who wrote it then? Nobody wrote it.
How did he know that? No Arabs could have known it. No other people at that time, in their time, could have known it. How was he able to describe a 21-day embryo of a human being which looks like a leech and acts like a leech? Morphologically and functionally.
He probably had help from other Arabs.
No one else could have known. 21 day, you can't see it with the naked eye. You can't see it.
There was no microscope.
Microscope was invented by Van Leeuwenhoek in 1673. And do you know what they said? They said the whole human being is like a miniature human being in a sperm like this. And we know that was false, but that's what they claim they've seen it.
So you're saying Muhammad never lied? He's never lied?
No, I'm saying these information I've given you 2 examples so far. If you keep on asking, I'm going to give you more examples.
Yeah, but
how did he know this? He couldn't have known this. Neither could the Arabs at that time. Neither could the Chinese and the Greeks and the Romans and no one could have known these things. It's impossible. You need look. Can you see a bacteria with your naked eye?
No,
I'm asking you a serious question. Can you see a bacteria with your naked eye?
Bacteria with my naked eye?
Yeah. Can you?
No, I can't.
You can't. So you need magnified tools that magnifies it, right? Without the magnification, without the tools that magnifies it, it's impossible for you to know what a bacteria looks like, for example. So when a human embryo is described in its process of creation within the womb of a mother, and it's described in a way that is understood by a layman and even by a professor called P.Z. Myers, right? Given enough information to him. How is it possible that the Prophet ﷺ, being an illiterate person, living in Arabia, in a desert, with no science at that time advanced as is today, have known this? Ask yourself this rational question. These information couldn't have been known at that time.
So everything in the Quran you're saying is true?
Yes.
I am saying the information, this true information that I've given you, you have to rationally, scientifically, logically, intellectually justify. How did he know this?
So the whole, when he was in a cave, in the angel cave...
Listen carefully, my friends.
No, I'm asking you very frankly.
How did he know this? Either he knew it himself. Question to you. How did he know this? It's impossible for him to know. Without a satellite, without a microscope.
Yeah, but there are lots of mistakes in the Quran. You know there is.
The 2 examples I've given you, deal with it. If I tell you that there are roots of mountains, do you know mountains have roots? Have you seen it yourself?
Foundation.
Roots, autad.
Yeah.
Have you seen the roots of a mountain? You haven't. Even if you dig up, you won't be able to see it. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah made the mountains as autad, as pegs. Most of it is underground, a little bit is overground. We know this by sonography, sonars. That you beam the sonar, whatever you call it, and frequency comes back and say, there's the matter, all that time.
But
how did he know this?
Okay, Master, I have to go, but I will say one
But
thing.
you are not answering the question.
You know, deal with the
Instead
question.
of dealing with the point, you're saying, what about...
Deal with the question.
Okay, let's leave it to that. We'll talk again. But ask yourself, these 3 examples I've given,
Reflect and
how
ponder.
was he able to know this?
And you give me the evidence of Adam and Eve, and I'll give you the answer.
No,
just told
deal
you.
with the question. Deal with the
I
question.
cannot give you an evidence yet. I can give you the tools how to prove or disprove it.
But there is a chance it's a fantasy story.
No. I don't buy that there's a chance. Why? Because I have firm conviction that the Quran is from God, and God informs about that historical event.
And Jesus never died. Yeah, Jesus never died. You believe that, don't you?
Listen. There are many things. For example, did you know that in your heart there are also synapses that can also think and reflect, perhaps, and feel? Not your brain, your heart has synapses. Did you know this? Before I told you. So there's many things you don't know.
Interesting fact.
We have synapses in our heart, which can actually be just like synapses in our brains and our neurons, which processes information and thinks and feels in our heart. People didn't know. The Quran says, do they have hearts for which they don't yaqiluna biha, they don't ponder and reflect? Now we realize today because we've discovered the synapses.
Okay, I gotta go. Nice to
Take care, Salman. Go. We'll talk again another time. Let's pray Maghrib, whoever hasn't prayed Maghrib, inshallah.
Shoot, 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 what I do. Na 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 na. Shoot, shoot.
إذا أعجبك الفيديو لا تنسى الإعجاب والتعليق، ولكي يصلك كل جديد اشترك الآن.